Well, the EU is proposing a plan to make its economy more competitive. It wants to make the bloc more business-friendly amid fears that its industries could fall behind the United States and China on the global stage. But some are worried the new strategy could have negative consequences.
High energy costs, over-regulation, lengthy procedures. All these factors make it hard for European businesses to compete, says business representative Markus Beirer.
And you can basically see that the investment in the last years has not gone to Europe, and a lot of the investment has gone elsewhere, has gone to Asia, has gone to the US, and this is a trend we need to reverse.
When it comes to GDP, the EU has for many years been neck and neck with the US. In the last decade, the bloc clearly fell behind. At the same time, China has been on the rise, shortly surpassing the EU's GDP in 2021 and 2022. The US leads globally in big tech companies, and China is beating Europe in the production of electric vehicles. In Brussels, they are aware of this.
The problem is not that we lack smart people, and we don't lack certainly good ideas, but there are too many barriers to commercializing innovations and scaling them up in the European Union.
Since 2008, nearly 30% of the EU's most successful innovators moved away, mainly to the US, Mario Draghi said, when presenting his founding ideas for a new strategy last year. Now, the EU has a plan to make Europe more competitive.
It will be the North Star of this new Commission and drive our work for the next 5 years. We're setting 3 goals.
Those 3 goals are closing the innovation gap with competitors, decreasing energy prices while continuing to decarbonize, and increasing the bloc's economic resilience. To achieve these goals, the EU will introduce many new initiatives, and it's expected to be an exercise in cutting a lot of red tape. While businesses see this as a step in the right direction, they're waiting to see concrete action.
It's very important that the companies on the ground feel the change, that they get hope again. Because if we reverse the mood, we can come to a virtuous cycle again and move away from the vicious circle we have been in the last years.
Yet not everyone is on board with the coming changes. In an open letter, roughly 270 civil society groups called on the EU Commission to prevent any backsliding with regards to social, environmental and human rights standards already beforehand. Some in the EU are worried that competition with the US and China could mean putting European values on the line.
Well, DW Brussels correspondent Lucia Schulten filed that report, and she joins me now from Brussels. Lucia, great to see you. So the EU plans are out now. Their plans are for regaining competitiveness. Remind us how Europe plans to take on the US and China.
So today the European Commission has presented its compass, its competitive compass, and it really does have a lot of initiatives, a lot of ideas how to regain competitiveness, as they're saying. So basically I will talk you through a couple of the points that they were making, a couple of the proposals. So for example, the European Union would like to become what they call a habitat for innovative startups, to be attractive for startups to come, to also promote certain things, for example, to promote that companies use more AI, that they will also have a strategy on that. And also there were other points where they also want to become more attractive for businesses. A big point, for example, is to get cheaper energy. So this is one of the points where businesses were complaining about, as you've also seen the report, and they want to tackle that issue. And the last point that I would like to pick out is maybe the area of resilience, because they're saying that the European Union should become more resilient. This is especially in the area of raw materials. So they were also proposing that there might in the future buy these together. So all European member states should jointly purchase raw materials, and also that when it comes to public tenders in this critical area, that they would maybe have something like a European preference, which would mean that European companies would get priority over other companies.
Now, Lucia, what does all of this mean for businesses that are already established in the EU, or say people who are thinking of starting or moving a business here in the European Union?
So immediately, not much, because all of the things that have been proposed today need to run through the European Union legislation machine. So there first need to be a concrete law proposal coming from the European Commission, and then it has to be approved by the by the EU Council and also by the EU Parliament. So this is still way to go. But there was also another proposal they've been making today, and maybe in the future this would be something which would be attractive for companies that are thinking of coming to Europe. So they've been proposing to create a regime, a 28th regime, which would foresee the same laws in the areas, for example, of tax law, labor law, company law, all over Europe. Because for now, if you go to one state, these laws might be very different than in another state. And if you want to do business all over Europe, this might hamper your business. So they're also planning to introduce such a 28th regime. But as I have said, all of this is in the future. All of this needs to pass the legislative machine here in Brussels.
And we'll see how long that takes but of course we'll be keeping an eye on it. DW Brussels correspondent Lucia Schulten, thank you.